Hello there, Seraphim17 once again. This is my Gears of War 4 Inconceivable difficulty video walkthrough. This is Act 4-2, no detours. This first fight doesn't look like much, but it's one of the harder fights. It's a fight where you do not have the right cover, the enemy has the advantage, and there are a whole host of ways it can go wrong. I don't like this fight at all. I find this fight to be on the... Remember when I gave you the triumvirate, the triage of fights in this game? Skillful fights, mid-tier fights, dogshit fights, lucky fights. This is a dogshit lucky fight. However, it does have a couple of skillful aspects to it, which kind of saves it. Which is to seal the hives that are coming up, the nests. And additionally, there's a wonderful rock where you can kind of do a reach around and shoot people. And it's one of those rare pieces of cover where when you aim a specific way, you can't really be shot, but you can shoot them in a way you wouldn't be able to. And it's this piece of cover here. So there's the nest that I'm going to be throwing the grenade into. There goes the nest. There's two grunts, and then there's two to the left. And when you aim on this piece of cover around to the left, he kind of tilts himself around the rock. And he does so in such an intriguing way that you can shoot on an angle you probably shouldn't be able to. But right then was the danger. There is a pod that has a screamer in it, and he's going to trigger all the other pods to burst, which is going to spawn juvies. And you can shoot the pod prematurely and get rid of it. It's literally the pod to the right of that rock I was on, just in front. That's the one that triggers it, just in front there where I am now. See it? See like the ruins of it? That's the one. You can see the corpse of it just there. You see the blue thing laid in the goo? That's the dude. So if you want to trigger it prematurely and then back up, you can do that, but I was too busy trying to shoot stuff. But this is when I noticed this rock was super cover, so Dell's in the way right now, being a dick. I saw that guy on the left, and watch this. So if I try looking to the left, I'm going to out-angle him. I'm going to do some Rainbow Six, cure for insomnia, Dutch tilt through a doorway for 9 hours the game. Look at it! See this? I shouldn't be able to do this. He cannot hit me, and I've got free range on him. It's like the ultimate angle, it's wonderful. I've got that stupid corner gun that Angelina Jolie uses on Wanted, and you're like, why the fuck would she take that to a supermarket? We don't know. But that's the end of that first encounter. It's a lot more intimidating than it looks. I find that to be definitely one of the more difficult fights. If you can get past that, you can do a lot of this game. And always check the nests. At the bottom of the nests is either a power weapon or grenades. And the grenades are what you want. You can pick up a boom shot if you want to. Which is interesting. I don't really play Gears multiplayer all that much anymore. Nowhere near as competitively as I used to. But yet I still call the weapons power weapons. Because that's what they were called when I played multiplayer. You rushed the power weapons. It was all about controlling power weapons. And I don't know for certain, didn't that terminology come from like Quake or Doom? From, controlling the map and picking up the railgun or the rocket launcher or whatever and hoarding the armor. And I think it was also present in Halo, because holding the sniper and, holding the Spartan laser and stuff, I think that's a term that was used there, but I'm not certain. Just one of those weird things. I was thinking the other day, why do I call them power weapons? Obviously they're powerful weapons, that's obvious, but it's one of those naming conventions that you've had forever and you can't quite remember where it came from. But here is another one of the weather sequences. This is actually a pretty difficult one as well. Not this section here, it's the section coming up. I did it on one take, but I wasn't happy with it. I was tempted to redo it, but I wanted to record this walkthrough in a day, and I failed because of the fucking Swarmac and the fact I was watching the cutscenes. If I'd not been watching the cutscenes, it would have been easy, but unfortunately, I underestimated just how long the cutscenes make the campaign. And it does add up, But I enjoyed it because I couldn't remember the story. Like, I didn't remember that Oscar died, or you thought he died, and then he was back at the end, and things like that. There was lots of it I didn't quite recall. And I still kind of feel the same that I felt, so if you're interested in how I feel about the story, I talked about it a lot on my Insane run. I feel like it's kind of underwhelming, and could have been more interesting. I think they could have gone a different way with it. I think the biggest problem with the campaign as a whole is they're trying to shoehorn affection into a team of characters that are new, that don't really earn the kind of commitment and interest that the other characters had. Like in Gears of War 1, you built a connection by playing the game. It wasn't the strongest connection, to people like Baird, people like Cole. Everybody liked Cole because he's fun. You know, Dom was kind of whiny, Marcus was very gravelly, Baird was kind of awkward and annoying. But by the end of the game, you knew the characters, you liked them, you spent time with them. But once you give a person 3 games and several years, you learn a lot more about them and you have a much stronger bond. Whereas the characters in this game, they just feel like archetypes that have been put in there to give us fresh blood. But they don't have much to do in the game. They don't really have any kind of crucible to go through to help us feel for them. The biggest thing that we can really, you know, get emotional with and empathize with is that they're losing family and friends. But these games have always been about loss. You know what? When you look at what Marcus has lost, what some of these characters have been through, it is quite the holocaust of events. So for these new people to have relatives get taken by the Locust, it's like, do you not remember what happened to Maria? We've seen this before. It's not the same emotional beats because it's been done before. So it's much more difficult for us to care about essentially strangers. And then the second way for the game developers to make us care about them is to make them interesting, to flesh them out, to give them something to do that makes the player take note and either like or dislike them. Because the worst thing... Oh my god, look at that. The worst thing that can happen... Oh my goodness! This is a scary moment. This is one of those moments where you've just got to clench your asshole and pray. But it went okay. Like, the worst thing that can happen with a character is that it's not memorable. It doesn't matter if you love it or hate it. If you hate a character, they've done a good job of making that character despisable, right? That's how it works. But in this game, it's just, you know, random black dude, random, like, looking normal, white, you know, blue-collar guy, and girl with beanie. The game. And it doesn't, like, he's a bootleg Jace, at best. We're a bootleg Marcus, at worst, who's just kind of channeling his Nathan Fillion, and she just kind of gets in the way. Like, she's proud, she's stubborn, she's argumentative, and she's strong and everything, but, like, it's just so strange, isn't it? It's hard to get behind them, because I spent the entire game just being like, where the fuck is Baird? Where's Cole? Where are these people, dude? Like, I don't care about these teenagers. I don't want to be these teenagers. Like, when Marcus joined you, I was over the moon because I care about Marcus. I don't care about bloody John Dorian from Scrubs. I want to know what Marcus is doing. And then Marcus in this game takes an interesting back seat, like almost a more mature role in it, which I liked. Because you kind of see a lot of the turmoil from a different perspective, which is cool. But it just, I don't know. I think they went all in on this new franchise and on these new characters, but they didn't make us care about them. Can you think of any beats in this entire game that made you care about Del? Because I can't. His irony thing was something. His paper thing was quite funny. And when you go back to the original Gears, all Gears 1 was a bunch of meatheads making stupid jokes. And I loved that, because it was all cheesy dialogue, and it was all dumb. But it was a fun kind of dumb. It was a bunch of macho guys being like, "Urgh, protein shakes and fucking tits." And that was fun, right? Because they were big, beefy space marines with big, beefy guns. But in this one, it's just kind of... I don't know. It's a bit of an identity crisis in a lot of ways. And to look what they're doing with Gears 5 and it being such a drastic departure... Like, JD literally looks like Marcus Phoenix now. He's got all facial hair, he's bald, and he's probably going to have a bloody beanie on or whatever it is, like a bandana on his head like his dad. Like, it just seems crazy. I hope they know what they're doing, and I hope they make it more interesting. Because that's its biggest crime, isn't it, when you get right down to it. It's just not that interesting. And I want to like the characters too. I've got nothing against them. I just don't think they were used. Like, I love the voice actor for JD. I think he's a really, really cool actor. I've seen him in a couple movies. He's kind of he is that combination of Nathan Fillion and other things, and he's got that smiley, like, cockiness to him. I think they're all capable. It's just, it's the writing that's letting them down. They need more. They need some kind of connection to us, and I don't know how you do that, because Gears' go-to solution for connection and emotion is death. So who do you kill next?